All right, lead heads, welcome back to the Talking Lead podcast. This is episode 257, I think. I'll have to refer back to my notes, but I'm pretty sure we're on 257. If you guys didn't get an opportunity, make sure you go back and listen to last week's episode 200 and previous to this, 56, I believe it was. And that was our trip to Boston, where we had the great honor to attend the memorial ceremony there at Fenway Park for Chris Schottmeyer, federal agent, also member of the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association. Great time there. We also got to interview Brian with Benchmade Knives. A lot of information from Brian. Make sure you guys go back, listen to that episode. And we continue our 10 watches for 10 vets, and we gave 2 more watches away. So if you were one of those recipients, make sure you go back, listen to that episode, and get in touch with me, talkinglead@gmail.com, so we can get you your watch. And we're going to continue this episode, giving 2 more watches away. But first, I've got to interview. I've got to introduce my guest, and he's no stranger to the show. He's a Talking Lead favorite. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mike Sodini.
My man. What's up, man? It's good to be back.
The man at Eagle Imports. Welcome in.
That's right. It's been a while since I've been on the show. It's been an NRA?
You've got a lot to talk about, man. You've been doing a whirlwind tour around the country. You've been rubbing elbows with some famous people, man.
I'm trying.
Jet set.
trying to stay out there.
And speaking of, Mike brings with him today a famous person. And listen, you are
cracking up.
You are. She is an actress. She is a patriotic blogger. She's the host of Red, White, and FU. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in Mindy Robinson. Yay, Mindy. So we've been working on getting you on the show for a while. You have been just slam jam busy.
Oh, geez. Well, I did that Roe V Wade movie. That was about, 5 weeks on the road, 4 different locations. And I'm always traveling, so I'm glad it finally worked.
Yeah, so that's something I want to talk about is that Roe V Wade, and we're going to talk about that in a little while. It just seems like something out of the ordinary that you're not your typical movie that you do. But, I mean, it looks like you're like... For all the credits that you've got, you've got hundreds of movies. I mean, you're having to do like a movie a week or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I kind of agreed to do pretty much, because that's the thing, when you're an actor, you're fighting constantly to get roles. So when you're given one, you're like, what's it called? Fuck it. And then you kind of do it. I mean, you look at some of these titles, and I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
A lot of comedies and stuff, but I've done comedies, horror, I've done action. Obviously, I have one in the background I can see.
Right.
So, you get the checkpoint playing.
A little ode to Mindy there, yeah. Got checkpoint playing in the background. If you guys haven't watched that, make sure you go to, I think that's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
You can check it on Netflix. But probably our crowd, you guys are more familiar with Mindy from the movie Range 15. Which, and I swear this had nothing to do with you being on the show, but I watched it again. I think it was Friday. I think it was on Hulu or Amazon Prime. That's what it was. Range 15 was on. And I was like, holy shit, they've got Range 15 on here. This is awesome. Because I haven't seen that movie posted anywhere since it came out in theaters.
Yeah, I thought it was on Netflix because I kept hearing about people seeing it again. But yeah, I think you're right. It just kind of pops up on the Amazon.
Yeah, it was on the Amazon. I was really excited. So I'll sit down and watch it again. I mean, that is just jam-packed with all kinds of stars. I mean, you got William Shatner in that. You've got Danny Trejo. You've got, you could probably name everybody in it better than I can.
Sean Astin. Obviously, Randy Couture, Tim Kennedy. We had all those, Medal of Honor and people, and just a lot of good. We had Marcus Luttrell. There's a lot of cool cameos. It was definitely a movie for the military.
Yeah, of course that. Matt Best, the superstar of that movie. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a good movie, and I caught it when it first came out in the theaters. I did a thing here in Tennessee. I'm in Tennessee, and the Lead Slinger Whiskey guys. We're having a big thing at one of our local theaters here, and I didn't miss out on that.
I bet.
That was a hell of a good time hanging out with
Mindy.
you guys.
Mindy,
Yeah?
is that where you met Randy on the set of that movie?
No, I met him on a different set. I met him on the set. We did a movie called Stretch. I think it's also on Netflix. And it's just one scene. I play his hooker. He's my pimp. He's got a blonde wig on. He had a platinum blonde wig and a cowboy hat. And he stole my email from set. And he emailed me later. And so it's just a funny, interesting way I guess we could have met. But we've done a few movies together, so.
Slide, devil.
Awesome.
So what Mike is referring to is, if you guys didn't know, Mindy's boyfriend, I guess it's your boyfriend, fiance, husband, where are we at here with this? I don't know. That's y'all's. That's y'all's.
You sound like my mom. Oh my God.
Randy Couture. You guys know who Randy Couture is? A famous MMA guy. And I mean, most people probably know him from the Expendable movies as well. I mean, he's been awesome in those movies. He's got a lot going on too.
Yeah, he just had the Roe come out. So that's, I think, on, like, what do you call it? I don't know. You have all those, like, live streaming things now, you know?
Yeah.
You get the Amazon and the Hulu and the Netflix and stuff, but it's definitely out there, and it's really, really good. There's a lot of friends in it, too.
Called The Row?
The Row.
Okay.
Like, O-W.
What is that
like
about?
R-O-W. Like a sorority. There's a killer on a sorority. So there's chicks, and there's dancing, and he's the dad in it, and, you know, he's a detective, so they're trying to figure out who the killer is. It's a whodunit.
A little murder mystery going on.
Yeah.
Little forensic files. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Love
For
that.
girls. College age girls. Woo.
Woohoo! So we're going to get into more with Mindy, find out more about Mindy, get into some new guy questions with Mindy. But first, I hear that jackwagon train rolling in, guys. Gunny, bring that train in.
Hoorah, simplified, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the Talking Lead Jackwagon of the Week, so brace yourself, baby.
All right, so the train has stationed, and like last week, I think we're probably going to fill this sucker up. We spent half the show on the jackwagon train last week, but it was a good one. So I'm going to defer to my guest as usual. And who wants to start, Mike? Or I think ladies first. I think we start with Mindy, right, Mike?
That's right. Be a gentleman.
I am a Southern gentleman.
Be a Southern gentleman.
So, Mindy, who you got for us?
I'd have to say one of my arch enemies on all of the Facebook would be Occupied Democrats and all the idiots that follow them.
Just every one of them.
Well, dude, I can't escape. It's one of those sad things when you go to the page and you see you have like 200 friends that also like this page, and you're just like, what's wrong with you guys? Like, why? You can have a different opinion, but like something about that particular page is just so screwed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they're all screwed up.
Well, no, there are times, and it's kind of a running joke if you're a conservative, if you go on there and, you know, they're hating on guns, or they're hating on, you know, whatever the flavor of the week is that they've pulled out of a basket, and you post a fact. So they'll post something. I'm a conservative. I'm actually going to look it up, see if it's right, and then if it's not right, I used to post that it wasn't right, and they would block me, and they would block anyone that pointed out that they were wrong and how.
That showed them that they were wrong.
So it was never about a different opinion. Yeah. So, and to top it off, I'd create other accounts, and I'd go on there and to troll them some more, because at this point, I'm just pissed off. And it's absolutely hilarious. So I'll put something, and it makes sense, you know. I'll defend Trump or something. I'm like, well, actually, that didn't happen, this and that. And they will just, these liberals, these loving, tolerant liberals with, you know, pictures of cats and rainbows will be like, you whore, guns kill people. You don't understand your white privilege and your guilt, and you're just throwing out words. You're a bigot. You're literally Hitler. And it's amazing to see, like, they'll be racist, they'll be sexist to me, like, you stupid white girl, like, all this other stuff. Those people don't get blocked. I've been called disgusting things on there. Those people will not get blocked. But if you happen to point out, hey, actually, in 2018, gun statistics, you banned. So it's absolutely ridiculous. It's an echo chamber, which is supremely boring, I would imagine, but it's just regurgitation of, and hey, you can have a different opinion, but if it's wrong and it's not right, you shouldn't be sharing it. You shouldn't be, there was one where Paul Rand took a picture of, like, his staff. And so Occupy Democrats does this meme, and they're like, there's no white people, some racism like that. So I found the original picture. They blurred it out on purpose. You couldn't see anyone Hispanic. They cropped a black woman off the side. They cropped a black woman off the side just so they could say, oh, look at all the white people. And there was like 3 Asian guys behind them, but they don't count because they blurred the picture. You can't see them. And I'm like, see, that's just a lie. So I posted, hey, this is the real picture. They erased it. They blocked it. Because God forbid you point out that they're wrong and that they're liars. So
they're trying
you can put them in the jack-off wagon.
Deliberately mislead people. So as we're talking, Leadheads, go to Mindy's Facebook page. You can also go to her website, which is Red, White, and FU. And I was looking at another post here. It hits close to home, especially after we just came back from our trip from Boston there, honoring Chris Schottmeyer, federal officer, federal agent. You posted one. Supporting law enforcement is, quote, weak-minded, ? We're all supposed to just trust everyone to police themselves while living in lawless anarchy or something. Hashtag Blue Lives Matter. And then you've got this.
That was a hate mail I received this morning.
Hate mail. Damn, your post about hashtag Blue Lives Matter made me lose respect for you. I thought you were bigger than supporting tribalism. And then, I'm evil because I support law enforcement, ? There's the door, bro.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out, because I don't want ass prints on my new door.
It's like, I don't need your support, douchebag. I love that. And then he goes on and, So
he says I'm weak-minded and all this other stuff. I'm like, what are your options? What are your options? Like anarchy. Those are your options. You need, it's either going to be military or it's going to be citizens.
It's going to be uprising.
Man, it's nuts.
So, Mindy, you were in an altercation. I don't want to say it's an altercation, but you were in some heated debate with a liberal chick that's in Hollywood here recently.
Oh, that's a good one.
Can we bring that up, or is that
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, you want to give the background on that?
Well, I get sent things because I run the political blog and I do research, everything I do. So I get lots of tips. And I get this tip of this, and there was this guy reaching out to me because this liberal female feminist Hollywood, and I don't want to say Hollywood director, her husband's a Hollywood director. She did a documentary and thinks she's a shit and she's going to get an Oscar. Right. I'm not even kidding. If you go to her page, she's like, Oscars, and like her fingers crossed. Like, you fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
So anyway, what she was doing is, she had a long history, if you went back on her Facebook page, of doxing pro-gunners. Anyone that went to, a Trump rally or something like that. So that's what she would do. She would be part of a mob. Look, I'm on TV. I'd be part of a mob that...
There you are.
Good eye, Mindy. Good eye.
It's a big fight scene. Yeah, but...
it's a zombie.
No, she's just crazy.
Okay.
You gotta watch it again. Anyway, so she was doxing people, and she was kind of the lead in this mob. And so I looked, and the guy that was the particular story was his friend went to, remember when the kids were like, guns are killing us, it couldn't possibly be a maniac that hates us.
Right.
Well, they were doing that rally, and so they were at the pro-gun rally. It was in Boston. So his friend thought it'd be funny with all the pussy hats and everything going around, that he just held a sign that said, suck my dick, which is funny. Which is funny, right?
Yeah.
So she loses her mind. She gets all her crony liberal friends to dox him. And they do. They find out his name. They find out where he works. And then she's so full of herself that everything she's doing is public. I can look at it. I don't have to be a friend or anything. This is all public and online. She said, I just called this job 17 times. And, she admitted she called this job 17
That's like
times.
Harassment.
She's like, oh, yay, we got him fired. Oh, it is.
Stalking, harassment. Oh, my God.
And so the guy gets pulled aside, and he has to explain why he's a pedophile and basically Hitler. He's like, what? And she told the boss that he was holding a suck my dick sign at a children's rally. There isn't even a teenager in these pictures. Like, it's the most ridiculous stuff ever.
Oh my
so
God.
she loses her mind. That's okay. So what do? I post the story. You know what I mean? She was trying to dox the people sitting next to him. She was just a cunt. And if you go back, she's done it about 12 times. But wait, there's more. She's doing something awful, and she's doing it public. So I do an article. I expose her on it. She loses her mind, claims I'm harassing her, and that it's slander. I'm like, okay, it can't be slander because it's true. And it's libel because it's written. Everything I said was true. These are all the screenshots. Well, she went so insane that, it really got bad. She She reported me on Facebook. There's nothing I'm doing illegal. All I did was take her public post and piece the pieces together and do an article.
And she was trying to get you blackballed in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. You're never going to work in this town again. She had the police contact. Like, she's having the police contact people. She's like, I'm going to sue you. And I'm like, I don't think you've seen my movies. You ain't going to get nothing. You ain't going to get like the feedback. So, like, you're having, I'm like a cat in an 08 Honda. But in her head, like, she's like, you're not going to have a house. You're not going to have, I'm like, I don't have those things. Don't sue me. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to win. Everything I said can be backed up. And what she did was illegal. But in her head,
it's like, I don't have one now, but I'm going to get one after your lawsuit, bitch.
No, that's what she did. She sent emails to directors I worked with and told them not to hire me because I was racist and all this other stuff. And I have the email. And she's like, well, like, dude, so stupid. And you know what? She's back on Facebook. If you'd like to find Lisa Headlove, you can send up the article. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Lisa with the Y, because her parents are douchebags. LYSAHESLOV. Look her up, because she just fucking loves doxing pro gunners.
There you go.
Hey,
give her a piece of your mind, leadheads.
Yeah.
Mindy, I remember when it was going down, and I remember texting you being like, Jesus, this lady, and she had said that you had been arrested a bunch of times or something.
Oh, here's a hilarious part. So she sent that email to a director I worked with like 5 times trying to get me fired, right? I don't know whose identity she pulled, but I could tell, like, she's like, oh, Mindy's been arrested. I have like all this stuff on me. I have different social security numbers. I've got all these lawsuits pending. And then I'm looking at what she sent me, or what she did under pseudonym. It's not the right name. She's like, Robinson is your married name. And, I had a different name. You want to ask my parents. My name's been Robinson all my life. When I was married, it was Robinson. So she pulled someone else's identity, went off that information, and then sent that email to my boss. So she is so legally screwed. Like, I hope she sues me. I'm going to win that counter suit like a motherfucker.
That's probably who I called when I was trying to call you first on Skype. I called some Mindy Robinson. It was
she's like, warrants.
You're like, who is this? Your name Lisa?
Her last name really isn't Robinson. Okay. All right. I guess my parents aren't my parents either, but,
Well, what was funny is she was, like, genuinely confused, because I remember, like, we're going back and forth, and I was like, Jesus, and she's like, honestly, I really have no clue what this lady's talking about. She's like, I have no idea.
Just a day in the life of the
Mindy she actually like printed it. It was a different middle name, I'm like, so she really screwed up. Okay, and you have it in writing, so like, all right.
So did she just kind of disappear, and fall to the wayside?
Well, here's the thing: every time she bothers me, I repost the article. That's what I do. So she's finally learned.
It's like putting the hand up.
Not dox people and not have lawyers and cops calling me. Because every time you do, I'm going to repost the article.
There you go.
Hell, I might do it for no reason, too. I don't give a shit. I'm unservable. I don't even, have a home. Like, I'm unservable. Go, serve me.
I'm unservable. That's hilarious. All right, let's move on to our next jackwagon. That was a good one. Do you have another one? I mean, that chick...
No, we gotta let Mike go.
That chick is definitely on the jackwagon train. Lisa, what's your last name? Say her last name again.
HESLOV. Remember, it's Lisa with the Y because her parents are douchebags. So LY.
Lisa Head Slavic. Okay. All right, Mike, who you got, buddy?
I don't know if somebody did this one because it was kind of last week, but Senator Bill Nelson on the 3D printed guns.
Okay, well, that's good because that was going to be a topic that I wanted to talk about this week. So yeah, let's throw him up there.
Yeah, just the way he carried himself through that whole 3D printing, which basically just does more fear mongering and gets people to think that people are printing out, AR-15s right from their printers that are going to go on deadly rampages.
Oh yeah, they're printing out freaking mod, deuce and a halves, and mounting these guns on them and printing out their soldiers and their ninjas, and yeah. They're just printing out whole armies, It's ridiculous.
And what's crazy is that these people don't even have to go up and apologize for the things they say that are completely, incorrect and cause fear. It's just silly. I don't know.
So yeah,
But yeah,
while we're on that, I mean, let's talk about that. What's y'all's take on the 3D printing?
I mean, what's it going to work like once or twice? I don't understand. Like, it's not like I could make a better homemade gun like going to Home Depot and getting the real stuff. Just make a homemade gun that way.
But it's just it's no different than like an 80% lower. Let's say I've built probably a dozen guns here at my house. I've put together, assembled. I haven't gone and smelted the metal or anything like that. But you can buy 80% lowers. They're unserialized. You finish the lower yourself. And then you can build a rifle, and you don't have to. Law states you don't have to serialize or register or anything with that gun, as long as you're not losing possession. So once you lose possession, once you give a possession to that gun, then the law states you're supposed to serialize it at that point. So I don't see this as being any different than the home gunsmith doing his own gun at home. So the thing with this is, and the thing with serial numbers too, is they can't track guns that effectively anyway with serial numbers. Most guns that are used in crimes are stolen for the most part. And once they do track it back to the original owner, then that person, I sold it, or it was stolen, or, whatever, for the most part, that doesn't work. So, but as technology improves and as, the materials and the machines become better improved, cheaper, I think we're probably going to see more and more of this. And I just don't think this is something that's going to go away. I think the government's going to keep persisting and pushing. And when I say government, the liberals.
Yeah, I mean, by the time they improve these printers to where it's like everyone can do it, we're gonna have to worry about Terminators and robots that chase us down and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
It's ridiculous.
But it's just like you said. I mean, they are spreading false information out there about the 3D printing and what it's going to lead to. Same thing happened if you remember when the Glocks came out. They were saying how the Glocks are going to be able to bypass security and all the terrorists are going to use them and nobody's going to be able to trace them or track them and, these invisible guns. Well, that's not the case. It's not. If you look at Glocks today, I mean, they're probably the most popular handgun there is.
You shoot people with your plastic 3D printed bullets. That's the most dangerous part. You get somebody in the eye.
They're gonna start shooting Pez out of them. They're just gonna be expensive Pez dispensers.
Well, then the feminists would like it.
There you go. And then they'd give it to their kids, wouldn't they?
Assuming someone would have sex with them, yes.
Nice pedophile joke.
So our leadhead Troy S, he actually brought up that topic. So thank you, Troy, for sending that in. I think he wanted to put the NRA on the jackwagon train. I guess they made a statement about. I haven't been able to find what they've said about the 3D printers, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to say something asinine.
Yeah, I was gonna say they can get on the train a couple times too.
Yeah, I mean, they've been misstepping, but hopefully they're going to get back in line. So, is that all you had?
That's all I got, brother. That's my contribution to the train.
That's a good one, man. That was a good one. Thank you for doing that. So here's a guy, and he's new to the jackwagon train, but I think he's probably been a jackwagon all his life and probably his whole family. So it's Peter Henry Fonda. So what he did was he made a statement. Somebody had tweeted him or something about, the millennials aren't getting involved with voting and blah, blah, blah. So he came out and said, if you have a millennial in your family, take their early ballots, fill them out, mail them in, or take the ballot to the voting place and give it to the officials. No more worrying! ! So basically what he's telling them to do is commit voter fraud.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's very unapologetic about it, but for some reason that tweet, you won't be able to find that tweet. It's been taken down. but not before.
Obviously, his lawyer called him.
Right, but not before it had been retweeted and copied and pasted thousands and thousands of times. So welcome to the Jackwagon Train, Henry Fonda.
I think he was just tired of Jane Fonda being the worst Fonda.
Is that what it was? He
Yeah, they're having like he's the most awful garbage human being contest, and he's like, God, Jane steals the light all the time. How can I be a douchebag? Let me make some shitty comments about a little kid, and yeah, fuck him.
Fuck them all.
Yeah, no co-starring role with him, Mindy, anytime soon.
I'm probably too old for him.
Whoa.
You think the creepy movie he made with Brooke Shields? It's creepy.
So Peter Fonda, welcome to the Jackwagon Train. I wonder if his dad was a douche. I mean, his dad had some great movies. You know, Henry Fonda back in the day was the shiznit, the bee's knees. Is that what they say? Well, how they say it in Hollywood? What's Hollywood speak there, Mindy?
It was like Hollywood speak in 1950.
Bee's knees.
You want to be a movie star? Get in the back of my car. I'll show you how to shoot the star off of your face.
You are doing Roe V Wade, so that is that time period.
Well,
you should be picking up that language. Yeah, chickadee.
Yeah, it was 1973, dude.
Check out the skirts, would you? Hey.
I know, where you're cruising down the Sunset Strip in your Model T, taking corners at 7 miles an hour.
Yep, got my headscarf on, blowing in the wind.
We're going to talk about that movie, too. Definitely want to talk about Roe v. Wade. But on the other note, Gunny, go ahead and take the Jackwagon Train out of here. I've got a couple of more, but I'm going to... Well, all right, let's do this one first, and then I'm gonna do a good guy story. A California teacher kicks high school student out of class for wearing an NRA shirt. So this happened at Lodi High School in Lodi, California. And a teacher kicked a sophomore student out of class for wearing an NRA t-shirt and reportedly told another student that she would have to write an essay if she continued to disagree with him. The school administration later determined that the shirt did not violate the school's dress code. So when two high school students decided to show up for class wearing NRA t-shirts, they were met with a lecture about the dangers of guns. One of them was then kicked out of class and sent to the principal's office. The mother of one of the students said that she thought this was completely inappropriate. She was basically being attacked in class, this chick says, for wearing the t-shirt. I think he's there to teach. I don't think he's there to discuss his personal beliefs. Well, that's not today's environment, is it? Teachers are always pushing their opinions on students. The shirt in question had an NRA logo on the front in the shape of an American flag, and the shape of an American flag made with the back of shell casings. Below the flag were the words National Rifle Association. So there's no guns on it at all. There's just some spent ammo cases that are, doing a patriotic flag there.
You sure it's not the flag that offended the stupid liberal? Because it's hard to tell sometimes. Could have been the flag, or the ammo, or the NRA. I mean, that's just the trifecta. I'm surprised she's a...
And it could have been the fact that a female was wearing an NRA shirt.
You're going against my narrative.
The school administration reviewed the t-shirt and determined that it did not violate school dress code policy. It goes on to say that the mother supports the daughter and that she will probably continue to wear the shirt to class again. So good for her. Yay for people in California standing up for 2A. Woohoo! We need more of that in California, guys. So that is my last jackwagon. So now we're going to talk about a good guy with a gun has saved many lives in Florida. Something that the media rarely reports. So it goes on to say, and this is on the Blaze. This is a story by, I'll give credit where credit's due if I can find his name, John R. Lott. Actually, this is Fox News, so I thought this was the Blaze. Thankfully, a heroic citizen with a permit to legally carry a concealed handgun was able to save countless lives in Florida Saturday when he shot a gunman who opened fire on a back-to-school event attended by over 150 students at a park in Titusville, Florida. The media rarely give national news coverage to incidents like this, but responsible gun owners have stepped forward in this way many times before to save lives. In fact, concealed handgun permit holders have prevented dozens of mass public shootings just in recent years while receiving only brief mention in local news coverage. And that's a fact. You never hear about incidences like this to where a mass murder was prevented.
It's very strange to me that, like, you know, they always go for the story with the tragedy, right? It's always somebody getting shot. But yet, like, in Hollywood, everybody loves, like, a hero. But it just somehow the hero with a gun, like, in the news doesn't translate to what people want to see.
That's
or
a
like,
good point.
isn't that weird?
Yeah, that is weird. But fortunately,
it's not weird. That's what they report on. I mean,
well, yeah, that's what sells their.
Yeah, but I mean, don't you, Mindy? Don't you think it would sell the same by just on logic? Like, everyone loves John McClane.
It would.
Die Hard.
it would, but that it doesn't help. You understand that almost all the media is liberal. Why would they print and push a story about a good guy with a gun ever, when they can make a lot more clicks when they, you know, all the other drama? What happened to statues? Did they forget about statues? Was that like so last month or?
Oh yeah, knocking out old statues.
Oh yeah, they're totally over statues. Now they're on straws.
Well, so last week we were talking about in Austin, Texas, they're trying to get Austin renamed because it's named after a guy who owned slaves.
We can name it Trump.
Oh my gosh.
It's only fair. He's president. I mean, I think it's a good switch.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, let's just keep it at Austin because it's Austin, and if you ask anybody about the history of the name, they're not going to know because their mother, their grandmother, their great-great-grandmother couldn't tell you. You know, that's just how long it's had that name and how great it is. But we were talking about how, you know, you can't look at that aspect of it. You got to look at the things that the people were doing to help, you know, build this country then. You know, the things, that's what, it wasn't named after them because they owned slaves. It was named after them because they were doing other great things.
Yeah.
To help our country, to help that state, to help that city. So,
I mean, you have to understand, people are products of their time. Do you hate, you know, your grandmother because she had kids with no seatbelts, bouncing around the back of the car, everything unsafe, smoking?
Smoked while she was pregnant?
You don't hate people for what they're doing at the time. You're supposed to learn from it. You know, it's nothing. I just don't understand why people just got it that you have to erase things. Like, erasing history is how it repeats itself. Right. Erasing Civil War monuments is how you get a Civil War too. You know, you can't forget those things, good or bad.
Yeah, it's a great point. So in this instance, only the attacker was injured. The gun permit holder shot him in the head to keep the attacker from shooting any children and adults in the park. Neither the permit holder nor the attacker have been identified. The attacker suffered life-threatening injuries. Well, I hope so. He got shot in the head. And remains hospitalized. The presence of an armed good guy prevented the Titusville shooting from turning into a tragedy like the shooting in Parkland, Florida in February. Based on the information that we've gathered, the person stepped in and saved a lot of lives, no doubt. I mean, if there was 150 people there and this guy was opening fire and didn't hit anybody, the police responded within minutes, but the gun permit holder was right there. I mean, that's the classic, you know, when you need a police, they'll be there in minutes. But the gun permit holder was right there at the moment and stopped the attack.
Did he have a Bursa by chance? Or like a, I don't know. Is that anything from Eagle?
In this case,
I gotta get a shameless plug in there.
In this case, we'll say it was because they don't identify the firearm either. So we'll just assume that it was.
It's probably right.
We'll assume
it was either a Bursa, Grand Power. It could be Infinity Arms.
Could have been a little llama too.
Yeah, it could have been a little llama.
The Flame. With over 1.7 million concealed handgun permit holders, Florida sees more than its share of defense gun uses. Last November, an employee with a concealed handgun permit stopped a mass public shooting at an auto repair shop in Rockledge, Florida. Oh, did you guys see that video of that waitress where the guy comes back behind the counter?
Yeah, I saw that.
Punches that chick, and then the her coworker just draws down the dude, and he shit his pants. I guarantee it.
That was a good video.
Yeah. Let's see. The attacker armed with a .45 caliber handgun, multi-magazines, killed one person and severely wounded another in the repair shop's parking lot. The local television station quoted the police saying that the attack could have been worse if it wasn't for the Good Samaritan. In one interesting case in June, police say 36-year-old Christopher Raymond Hill robbed a Jacksonville Walmart and then tried to carjack someone's car at knife point, slashing the man on his arms and legs. Fortunately, the driver had his permitted concealed handgun with him, and then this guy went and tried to carjack another car, and guess what? That person pulled a gun on him also. He then gave up. He's just like, fuck
That's a
it.
good idea.
He's like, fuck it, everybody's armed. And hid in the restroom of a nearby store until police arrived. What a pussy. That's your typical criminal there. They don't want to be met with resistance. And once they are met with resistance, they don't know what to do and they shut down.
Yep.
And that's all the more reason for carry. Our Second Amendment rights, baby. America, fuck yeah! And then he goes on. I mean, he gives several instances in this article of Good Samaritans with permits protecting others and themselves with their guns. So that's on Fox News. I misstated earlier, said it was The Blaze. John R. Lott, Fox News. So a little good news to counteract our jackwagons. We always like to do a little bit of that here on the show. Do you guys have any stories you want to add to that? Anything you've heard recently?
Stories, or what was the other part we have to do? The my problem with the movies or something?
Your problem? Facts to fight the myths?
The last thing, because I had an issue. I can't remember when you told me to. You asked me a question, and I know the answer, but I don't know the question. Is that the dumbest thing ever? I don't know how I know the answer, but I don't remember the question.
Yeah, facts to fight the myth. Yeah, we're going to do that one.
That's what. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's coming up. That's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that does it for the Jackwagon Train. Gunny, get that train out of here. Make sure those jackwagons don't get back on the streets. And we are going to continue with our interview with Mindy. So we want to learn more about you, Mindy.
Okay.
Now, I was just recently in Massachusetts, and you are a masshole.
Fall River, Massachusetts.
Fall River, is that where you're from?
Yes.
Okay. Did you grow up there?
Yeah, I grew up there. I left when I was 20 for the West Coast. So I was just there. I was visiting my mom in Maine, and I get to the airport at Logan, and they're like, "Car seats are Carousel 4." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm home. Like, it's my people." I went to the Lobster Festival. There's lobster roll flavored potato chips.
I saw that post, and I didn't see those at the airport. I would have so eaten those.
I did eat them.
Were they good?
They were good. It was like a sour cream and onion chips, but like an Old Bay seasoning kind of hint to it.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's a great idea.
That is I love that. So I got to eat a live Maine, I didn't eat a live one, but a live, they call them live Maine lobster. I read a whole one, a whole Maine lobster. I didn't eat it live. They cooked that son of a bitch.
This is some Fear Factor shit.
And it was so good. So good. I was this was in Portsmouth.
Oh, yeah.
We were in Portsmouth. So we started off in Boston, did the game. We drove up to New Hampshire, stayed in Portsmouth, and then the dedication was in Newmarket.
We probably just went by each other. I was in the airport for like 12 hours yesterday.
Okay. I got back Saturday. It was Saturday.
Oh, you've been here a minute.
Yeah, I got back a minute ago, but it was a great trip. Went to Cheers.
Cheers?
Yeah, went to Cheers. Went to, did you ever watch the movie Boondock Saints?
Oh, of course.
He loved the Boondock Saints. So we went to that church where they start the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Went to that church, checked it out. It was pretty cool. And then we walked that park right there. What's that park? Commons or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was pretty. Got to see George Washington statue, all kinds of stuff. So really enjoyed that trip. But you're from there, so I just came back from there. And then you moved to Cali when you were 20?
Yeah, I just turned 21.
You just now turned 21?
No, I wish. Oh my god.
Yeah, Mindy, always say yes.
Yes. So you only been there a year. No, you've been there a lot longer than a year with all these movies that you've done. I mean, you've got more movies here than Kevin Bacon.
I do feel like, the Kevin Bacon of independent B movies. I really do. Like, do you ever like when you flip around the Netflix, like, I don't remember this coming out. It might be one of my films. I'm just saying.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah, I'm not exactly doing, because it's always the same act. All those big movies are the same people over and over again. It's very nepotistic. But the worst they do, and they've been doing bad with the Weinstein and Numbers Down, it opens up a door for people like me to watch movies, so you can watch my stuff on Netflix, like right now. Right there. There I am.
Like right there in the background? Right there? Oh, and that guy.
Goldberg. Yeah, he's cool.
He was on Bates Motel.
Ah.
I just got...
Okay, yeah.
Just got done watching that series. Tia loves that. My wife, she loves Bates Motel. That was like one of her favorite TV shows. She binged it. But yeah, I was watching. I was like, "Hey, that's the guy from Bates Motel." But you get to be around a lot of famous and cool people. How did you get involved with this? What drove you to be an actress?
I wasn't trying to be. No, it sounds so douchey. It's one of those things like, it's super hard. Why are you going to try? But no, I think I got asked to visit a movie set. I'm like, oh, that's cool, because it wasn't in LA. It was like outside of LA. And I'm like, yeah, I'll drive up. And I get there, and they want me to come back and do background for free, which is hysterical now, because that is not a good deal. But yeah, I'll do it.
For free, yeah.
It's really exciting when you don't realize you're about to be like a movie prop for 12 hours for free. So I went back, and they had to fire a girl that day. And they're like, oh, you! And they point to me. Hey, come here. If you want to, I'm like, what? So I got thrown into that, if you can believe it or not. And I'm like, gee, that was kind of cool. Like, maybe I should sign up. So I started doing, I'd sign up for auditions, just free online. And I started going, I'd drive up, go to auditions. I wasn't living in LA. I was just outside LA. It was kind of a ways to go in LA. I was in San Diego. And so I'd go, and I was starting booking stuff. And I'm like, wow, like a douchebag, because it's supposed to be really hard. They're like, you're going to go to 30 auditions, and maybe you'll get one. And I booked everything. I don't care what it was, music video, web series. You know what I mean? I agreed to do everything. And then there was a point where, I did, you can't do a reality show and then go on another reality show, because they're going to realize they're hiring actors. So I did them all at once and didn't say anything. And then they all came out at the same time. So 35 network reality shows, most of them multiple times.
Are you serious?
And it was like the year. I was on everything on reality TV. It was stupid. Like every day I was doing, and obviously it's not what they want to see. So that was the last time I did reality TV. But yeah, the acting credits rolled in, and the reality TV helped me build a fan base, helped me get my face out there and recognizability, and then I used that, on my resume, and then it just went back and forth, and I just lucked out.
What was one of the reality shows that you were on?
I did George Lopez dating show called Take Me Out for the entire season on Fox.
George Lopez, okay.
Yeah, fucking. Hilarious is that show. We did a show for Fox. It was a big deal for us. Halfway through, he made shitty liberal comments about the sheriff. I think one of the sheriffs from Arizona, and our show almost got canceled. So it's thank you, George.
Appreciate it. It's like Roseanne Barr getting her show canceled. It was like everybody, all her staff and Kat, like, you bitch.
It is kind of, yeah. So I did that. I did the King of the Nerd show for 3 years as a character on that. I did everything, man. I was on remember the crappy reality shows like Excused, just dumb stuff, man. I was in everything. It was pretty unescapable for a period of time there.
Did you do the island one? What's the one where they all go get stranded on an island and?
That's a pretty long now.
Survivor. That's what it is.
No, you know what? I didn't get to.
Did you try? Did you try out for it?
Time though.
I know.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, you gotta dedicate a year to that, don't you?
I think they were looking at me for one of those awful Bachelor shows, but I had already been on TV at that point, and I was like, I was just gonna be an ass. Here's the thing: I'm not me on those shows. I'm an asshole. It's funny. When people go on, they're either gonna be boring or they're gonna be like,
Are you the antagonist? Is that how they portrayed you?
Well, especially on like those fake dating shows, I did so many of those. Like they're giving everyone alcohol, and I would not drink because I know better. I know drunk me does not belong on TV. So yeah, so they would get trashed, and I just ran circles around them. So
that's hilarious.
There's one episode like he got the police called on him. Like it was just crazy.
But
stuff.
That's smart. You know, that's smart on your part. You know, all these other people are going to be drunk and acting stupid, and I'm going to be sober and taking advantage of them and making them look. Well, you know, they're probably making themselves like asses, but you know, you make them look like asses.
Yeah.
So that was the first gig you did was the
crappy horror movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many movies have you? I mean, you've done. There's got to be at least 200 here, and then you've got at least 50 that are red lit right here, post production completed.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things. A lot of times you'll make a movie and they'll forget about post, or they'll forget you have to have distribution. So well, you can have distro, but they're like, we already did a comedy. You got to wait 8 months before we put it out. So there's a lot of different things. You don't just. And I hate this. And I'm like, hey, I just filmed a comedy today, and they go, when's it come out? Gee, I don't know. I think it's probably gonna, some kind of logistics into doing all the post. But it's amazing how they think like, why don't I know when it's gonna come out? Well, how can I?
Yeah. So let's rewind. Let's rewind before you left Massachusetts. So you got your 2A patriotism somewhere. Where did your patriotism come from? I mean, you are just exuding patriotism.
Well, when I was 20, the reason I came to California was I got married to a Marine, and we were headed to sunny 29 Palms, and it lasted about 3 months. It was pretty awful on his part. Like he was an awful human being, and I guess people feel like, well, once you're married, you're not going to leave. Right. I was out the door. Like I grabbed my cat and my clothes, and I was out the door. But I'm in 29 Palms. Do I go home a loser because I couldn't make this shitty marriage work, or am I going to stay here and make my way? So I started delivering Chinese food to all the Marines on base. That was my job. You make a lot of money because pizza, you can only take one pizza at a time. Chinese food, those people are giving you like 20 bags. They want it out. And so I made good money doing that. But, 9/11 had happened. And it just changed the tone of the town, and the before and the after. And watching my friends get deployed, and to this day, there's a lot of people, I can't find them. I can't find them on Facebook, and I don't know if they're completely off grid if they didn't make it.
To them? Yeah.
5 or 6 years I spent living in a Marine town, and I couldn't talk to the locals because they're insane. They're all on drugs and missing teeth. So all my friends were Marines. We shoot pool. There's nothing to do in the town. You just shoot pool, drink, and throw parties. That was it.
Right. Eat Chinese food. Yeah.
And I'll have Chinese food. But I think my patriotism came from that. My brothers were airmen, and my uncle was an airman, and my family was 4th of July, regular kind of stuff. And then just to live in 29 Palms, just to see why I have freedom. And these guys were getting shipped off, and they're not coming back, and all that other stuff. And it's still, and that's something I do share in common with Randy is everyone's got a charity, whether it's children or cancer or dogs. Our heart has always been with the veteran community and supporting them
Amen.
For what they've done for us, So there's tons of stuff. Randy's got his own charity event. We're going next week to do another one for it, and just there's an appreciation there that I think is lacking especially from the elites in the city that don't feel like they need this protection. Like their money and their private security is always going to protect them. They don't understand the freedom that they have that for comes from something else. So
right on. So we're talking about your patriotism. What prompted you to start the Patriotic blog, and then ultimately, I guess you started the Red, White, and FU
show.
Yeah. Talk about that.
Well, I've been acting for a while, and I had the fan page because you don't want like weirdos on your personal page, and there's a friend limit. So you create a page. There's no limit.
Is that why you've not accepted my request yet?
You gotta send me a message. I see a message.
It says pending still.
There are 1,000 friend requests. I don't see them. I don't go through them. You have to send me a message.
Pending. I'll send you a message.
Send me a message. No, so obviously I have a different public page for that, and it was all my acting stuff. And I'll tell you what, no one gives a shit. It's just the most awful thing you have to do. It's like those braggy pictures, like, oh, I'm getting on a private plane. Like, I hate that shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, please watch this, please watch that. And then, before the election happened, and I have a BA in American history, I have an AA in political science, and I kind of got frustrated looking at my Facebook and just seeing, like, why do I have to explain the electoral college to these people? Why can't they Google something before they... I was just losing my mind at how... I don't care if people want to be ignorant about something, but don't act like you're not. Don't throw stuff out and not check it. And one of the things when you're actually a history major, you're researching. You're constantly research, compile data. There's a certain wrong and right way to do it. I should be able to look at an article. I can tell if it's fake just by the way it's written. I mean, there's just a certain cadence to writing, and I don't write professional art. My articles are good, but I swear a lot, like that kind of stuff. But here's the thing. So I had this separate page. I'm like, look, I'm not going to bring my politics onto my personal page. I'm going to put them on the public page. So I started doing political stuff there, and that's what people cared about. That's what they wanted. They wanted to commiserate. They liked the way I don't just preach to people like this is wrong and this is why. You got to make fun of something. No one wants to hear you complain, but if you want to commiserate and you want to, make fun of something, then it's entertaining. It's funny. It makes them feel better. It's an upbeat way to see some shitty news sometimes. So I do try to deliver everything fairly, and I research everything I can. I've only had to kind of do like 2 retractions. Can't help it sometimes.
And I'm glad you said it, because that's something that we preach on this show. The art of critical thinking is slowly creeping away from our country.
Slowly? Quickly.
Yeah,
I was going to say, man, quicker. Pretty quick.
But, just like you said, I mean, just because somebody's telling you something, just don't take it for face value. Check the facts. Check several different sources. Don't just take one source and just take it, for face value. And, again, I'm glad you said that. And I guarantee you get underestimated, I'm sure, all the time, people who don't know you.
It's pretty helpful, though. Like, I'd rather be underestimated.
Right. I mean,
I can't disappoint people. Like,
will look at you.
I thought you'd be stupid. Oh, thanks.
Right, and then you get
You're smarter than you look. That's not a compliment. Just that kind of stuff. Like, it's on them, and that's why I'm not a feminist. I'm not a feminist. I feel equal. I am equal. If I want to make more money, I can go work on an oil rig and stop bitching. And yeah. Yeah. That's a whole other thing.
So yeah, you guys make sure you go check out Red, White, and FU. And go to the private page and ask to be a member, and she will eventually get to you. I mean, I'm still pending, but...
Well, especially no fun happens on my personal. Just go to the Mindy Robinson page. You'll see flags. You'll see guns. You'll see... It looks like... Yeah, I'm sure it's crazy.
Yeah, it's there. The Facebook page. And you're on Instagram.
Here's the other thing. You can't just hit like. You have to hit follow first, or it ain't going to show up, because Zuck is going to hide it.
Yeah, I'm following.
Very fun.
I'm liking...
Yay!
We're there, baby. We're there.
Yay!
So, I want to talk about this new movie that you're doing, the Roe V Wade.
Yes, sir.
It seems to be a curveball from what the normal movies that you do. Is it? Tell us about this movie, because it's got some powerful people in it too. Got some big names.
It certainly does. Obviously, my bread and butter has always been my comedy. To me, that's natural. That's what I do. I've done action movies. I've done a few dramas. I've done a few pretty heavy dramas. But this movie is more than different. I was asked to be involved from the very beginning because of my page, because of my politics, because they knew if they put me on this, I wasn't going to weasel out. I was already standing up to liberal Hollywood. I was already doing these things. Mm-hmm. And to give you the insight why a lot of people wouldn't do the movie is it's the true story of Roe v. Wade, which a lot of people would look at and think, oh, pro-abortion, it's going to say the wonderful case that how it was won. And it's not. The true story is it probably should not have gone through. It's based off of it's based off of right to privacy.
Yeah.
And it should have been argued on when do we become citizens protected by the Constitution. It's argued on my right to privacy. Like, what? Like, this doesn't make sense. So it was flawed. And, it takes place between 1971 and 1973. Mm-hmm. And it tells how Planned Parenthood was not born of something nice. It was not born to help, poor women get health care. It was done kind of for racists. Margaret Sanger is a huge racist. She didn't want poor black women to breed, she called it. Like she's more sterilization than abortion, but she's She wanted to wipe them out. She gave a speech to the KKK clan. She's not a good person. And the whole thing with whatever your idea are, or whether you're going to be pro-choice or pro-abortion, or women's rights or something like that, it's that for some reason there's, I don't know how to explain this. People aren't given the information. People aren't really allowed to. All right, so 2 of the people that were in the movie in real life end up becoming pro-life because one, Roe never actually had the abortion. She had the baby. Mm-hmm. And she became this kind of figure for abortion and women's rights. And she herself tried to overturn the case because she had women coming up to her saying, I want to thank you. You're the reason I had 4, 5, 6 abortions. She was horrified. It was never supposed to be birth control. It was supposed to be something in an awful situation or medical and it just changed. So the movie kind of passively is told from a pro-life stance, which has not been done. And it just got a lot of flack, obviously, from the liberal. Whether your views on abortion are pro-life or pro-abortion, it's just that you're not allowed to say you're pro-life for some reason in Hollywood. Mm-hmm.
But is this movie doing that, or is it just telling? This is the facts. This is the actual story. It's telling the true story. It's gonna make pro-lifers look better. It really is. Sure. And that's just the way. Now talk about your character, Ellen McCormack.
Yes, she was one of the pro-life activists. She worked a lot with pretty much everyone on the team. It's kind of like an ensemble, like dream team. And she actually ran for president twice.
Really?
Yes. She, since abortion was such a hot topic, politicians would never pick one or the other because they knew it was going to start splitting votes. So they just wouldn't answer. Mm-hmm. So she ran basically because her entire platform was pro-life. She's like, if you're not going to pick a side, that's going to be my side. And it was her only platform, unfortunately. She didn't have opinions on pretty much anything else, which kind of hurts you, but she ended up being the first woman to earn security, what do you call it, security? The President's Security.
Secret Service?
Yes, the first woman to qualify for Secret Service and matching funds to run for president. So it's pretty cool. I had to be wigged for the whole thing. No one is going to recognize me, but it's definitely one of the coolest things to do. Like, to be, not just that, but do a movie surrounded by other people that kind of think like that. Anyone that agreed to do this movie knew they were going to get hounded on, by liberal Hollywood. So you look at the cast, and it's pretty much, it's like super
Jon Voight is.
Oh my gosh, the legend, right?
Jon Voight. I mean, it don't get any better than that. Talk about. I mean, did you get to do a lot of work with Jon?
I'm not in his scenes. He plays a court. Actually, technically, I am in one of the scenes. I just don't talk to him. He plays one of the Supreme Court judges, and I'm in the courtrum as they read everything.
Yeah.
It's Justice Burger. You're gonna eat some. So it was an inside joke we were doing on set.
He just seems like he would be a good, fun guy to hang out with. I don't know. I mean, he may be your typical Hollywood superstar.
No, he's super nice. He's absolutely super nice. Right after we'd kind of filmed for the night, we're on location, so we're all staying in the same place. We kind of hung out at the bar. So I got John Schneider there. I got one of the other guys. And then, Voight comes up, and he's tall and he's just stoic and just really smart and really nice. And he was talking with the other actor how they were going to prepare for the scene tomorrow. And just the professionalism and the niceism, it was awesome. I love it when you're looking forward to meeting someone and it's even better than you can imagine.
Yeah.
He actually came up to me. He shook my hand. He's like, hey, I've heard of your work and I appreciate it. I was just like, thank you.
So which way is he leaning, would you say, as far as gun rights go?
Come on. I didn't personally ask him, but he's pretty conservative.
Yeah.
Most of the big actors on this are conservative or like Jamie Kennedy was pretty neutral. He's probably an independent, moderate guy. He's willing to listen to both sides. That's what I miss. I miss more people like that.
Jamie Kennedy, he's in Tremors.
Is he?
Jamie Kennedy experiment, baby.
Yeah.
It's good to see him working.
Corbin Burnson, Major League, Psych. Love that guy.
We got William Forsythe. We got Gutenberg, man.
Steve Gutenberg is in this too. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Good old Steve Guttenberg. And you said John Schneider's in it also. Superman's dad.
It was funny. I did a movie called You're Gonna Miss Me, where I play his wife.
Really?
Yes, we'd already worked together before. It was perfect.
That's a big age difference there.
No, not really, but thank you.
Yeah, it is. Because you're like 21 and he's like my age. He's like 50.
Yeah, I'm just like 21.
Bo Duke.
You know who else was on it? And I get to actually have dinner with him and talk politics is Roger Stone.
Now, who's Roger Stone? I'll probably know if I saw him. Don't shoot me.
Oh, no. I'm surprised. That's all. We had Tommy Lauren on this. It's Roger Stone. He's like a pundit. He's a
politician, dude?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. I mean, I saw Joey Lawrence, and I just like, whoa!
Yeah, whoa! He's super fun. He's talented. Like, he's always singing and doing impersonations.
Yeah, he's one of those
cool.
child star actors that made it. Yeah, he didn't. You
got Tom Geary. He's Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Love it.
Yeah, it looks like. I mean, you had a great cast here for this movie. When can we expect Roe v. Wade to be released?
Hopefully October.
Okay, around October.
Yeah.
Very nice. And is this going to be in the theaters, or is this going to be released to Netflix kind of thing?
I think it'll be in selected theaters, so not like you understand, like in the movie world, there's like wide release, which is like Marvel movies, and then you've got theaters.
Yeah.
So usually it'll be playing at least somewhere in a town, any major city somewhere, which is like one per. And then, yeah. So I think it's definitely going to theaters. I'd be surprised if it doesn't do selected theaters.
Now, what are some of the other ones that you're working on right now? What's one?
Oh, you might like this. I just did actually in the middle of that movie, I had to leave for one day and come back to do the. I have no idea how I fit that in, but yeah, I took 2 red eyes to do a movie inside a movie.
A movie inside a movie.
I'm in a movie inside a movie.
I'm just a dude playing a dude.
I was in New Orleans. I had to fly to San Francisco, and I had to fly back, and I had to finish there. But it's called The Dip Run. Look it up.
Run.
Yeah, it's got Laura Morgan. It's got a bunch of. You look it up, you'll see a lot of.
I'm looking. Is it on your IMDb?
It should be, but there's so many.
Yeah, there's
might be
The Dip Run.
There you go.
Erica. This is director Michael Payne. What is that a picture of? Is this a horror movie?
No, it's a comedy.
Okay.
About these guys who get sponsored by a dip company and do a cross-country trip. So it's
That's awesome.
I mean, I've never been on a set before. There's people wearing Trump hats, and I'm like, oh my God. Why can't this always be like this? They're wearing Trump hats. It was just the coolest thing. There's beer.
So Danny, before your phone dies, so Danny's phone's getting ready to die.
Uh-oh.
Are you there? Mike.
I think Mike left.
He said his phone was dying, so he said he apologizes. He says, good talking to you.
I'll talk about an Irish goodbye in the middle of a podcast.
Right? Way to go, Sodini. He's not even Irish. So, yeah, that sounds like Dip Run. That sounds like that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I play a hitchhiker that they pick up, and they start letting me drive, and then they realize I have Tourette's.
You got
So I just start screaming, and I almost lost my voice by the time I was done. I was just yelling and swearing randomly.
Now, did you do any research for that part? Did you go spend some time with somebody with Tourette's?
I shit you not. The guy next to me on the plane there had Tourette's. I'm like, you're not like swearing so much, but definitely was like, like the twitches and the coughing, and like, yeah, and then like you just say something. Luckily, it wasn't as bad as I was in the movie. But I'm like, I get that. I'm like, you won't believe this. Like, you won't believe this. Like next to me.
That's gonna be hilarious. Yeah, I'm gonna check that. The Dip Run, 2018, coming soon. Yeah. So, I've got a line of new guy questions.
New guy. And sometimes a girl. Questions.
And I hate it that Mike's not here to do these two because they're fun. So, first question is, how did you originally get involved with firearms? What's your earliest recollection of being around firearms?
You know, I've gone shooting here and there a couple times in my life, and then I was living on Hollywood Boulevard,
Hollywood
Literally,
Boulevard.
on Hollywood Boulevard, which meant that my bedroom faced like the shadiest alley you've ever seen. There wasn't allowed parking on there, so it was even more dead than it should be. And there was one night where I hear yelling, and I look out my window, and there's a guy robbing another guy by gunpoint. Like,
damn.
literally, I'm like, yes. And I'm like, God damn. I call the police, and I go down to the police. I do the most awful. They're like, what do you look like? Like, I don't have my glasses on. Like, I'm like,
I couldn't see.
I was like, so useless. 6 hours later, I look out the window. Woman's crying, screaming because her boyfriend hit her in the head with a rock.
Oh,
and she's
shit.
bleeding on the ground. I'm like, fuck. And you had to call the cop. I called 911 twice. And I'm like, hey, so funny. And like, same street. Cops come. You got a description? Oh, no. I'm like so nearsighted. I'm like, it was a guy.
I'm so nearsighted.
It was a guy. But yeah.
That
You
would,
look like a man.
that would be a great role, a great scene in a movie. That's awesome.
So, but that actually happened. So Randy's like, you need a gun. And so he bought me my first gun. He taught me how to shoot it. We'd been shooting before, but this is like my first
yeah,
gun.
one you could call your own. Yeah.
Yeah, my little baby. And
And
now
what
I
was
have
it?
like...
Glock? Was it a SIG?
It was a 9mm.
A
I know
9mm?
the by caliber. I'm worst ever. I know I've got 3 9mm, 4 9mm, and then the 380. And then the
Okay.
rifle.
What kind of rifle you got? An
It's
AR?
purple.
It's purple.
It's purple.
I guess it's got to be California compliant because you're in California.
Do you know what plausible deniability is?
Nope. Just say yeah. Just say yeah.
I would never take a non-compliant gun into California. That's my statement.
It's like anything, anybody with their the first firearm they get, it leads down that road of got to get another one, got to get another one, got to get the next one. Next, we're talking about law enforcement, military. You saying that you had some family members that were in the military?
Yeah, my brothers were airmen.
Okay. Brothers are airmen. And then you guys do a lot of charity work for our veterans, law enforcement. You and Randy.
We did a bunch. Randy has his own charity called the GI Foundation, and
Talk
we
about
do
that.
we do poker rides. We do country concerts. We did a really cool skeet shoot that I believe Eagle Imports donated the prize for.
Yeah.
And I'd never been skeet shooting before, and
It's fun, isn't it?
it was like that. Like if we could just do this with golf. You know what I mean? Just walk over, shoot. That would make it interesting. Like, golf is boring. This was like exciting golf.
Exciting golf.
Blow up the ball. It was so much fun. So we do stuff like that, and there's no overcut. Like, no one gets a paycheck. No one gets paid to work for it. So everything goes straight into the hands of our soldiers, and it is a beautiful moment. We don't really. It doesn't advertise. It doesn't like just give someone a check and help them out and put them on TV and do pictures. It's kind of always under the table,
Right.
and gives them respect and stuff like that. But the stories, every time you see the story behind the person you're helping, you just want to do more.
Right.
It is really
It's infectious.
something.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's a good cause.
And give the name of that organization again.
It's the Extreme Couture GI Foundation, and we actually have a poker run for our troops in St. Louis, and we have another one just outside of Chicago. All that information can be found on their Facebook, the exact, dates, times. And if you're there, come out and support us. And Randy will be there, and hopefully it goes well. Hopefully it doesn't get rained on. That's a problem with motorcycles. Hopefully it won't rain.
That'll be cool. Yeah, definitely. So you can go to the Facebook page and get all the dates and everything on that?
All the dates are on there. We do stuff all the time, different times of the year. So like the page, and hopefully we do things all over the nation, so hopefully everyone can eventually make it to one.
Yeah, and then find out how you guys can help out and donate and support. Definitely. That's awesome. Yeah. So when it comes to pop culture, Mindy, what is your go-to, whether it's a movie, a book, a TV show, music, maybe a video game? I don't know if you're a gamer or not. Like you're got some downtime right now, and I appreciate you doing this podcast because I know you only got a couple of days of downtime. But what do you relax with? What's your go-to if you're going to go watch a movie or read a book or whatever it may be?
I don't know. Sometimes I like to get ready and just do my life. I'll do it with I like red dirt country. Red dirt country. Like I'll put on some bluegrass or like some of the older country music and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just love it. Like, I could do nothing, I could do stuff. It's just something about it. I don't know. I think it's so American. I mean, is there anything more American than country music? It's one of the things we got.
Yeah, bluegrass is awesome. I love bluegrass. Love the old Hank Williams Sr. He's good too. Now, what about like rockabilly or something like that? Would you like that kind of music too?
I used to be real big into rockabilly. I think when I was in that's why I got the giant tattoo and whatnot. But like the Cramps, the Amazing Cramps. Amazing Cramps were my favorite. I saw them probably like 12 times. Dropkick Murphys.
Oh,
I love all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the Goddamn Gallows?
The what?
The Goddamn Gallows.
Mm-hmm.
You got to check them out.
Okay.
They're great. They do the outro music for the podcast.
That's cool.
Called Load Your Guns. Well, they didn't do it just for the podcast. I got in touch with them and was like, hey, guys, love the music. Can we use that? And they're like, hell yeah. Let's go shoot. So, yeah, I think you would enjoy their music, too. Yeah,
I'll check them out.
It's pretty good shit. So, what about movie-wise? What's your go-to movie? What's your comfort movie?
I don't know if I got one, honestly.
Yeah? There's not one that you just sit down and watch over and over and over and over again?
I don't even own a DVD anymore. I mean, everything's
does?
so lot.
Everything's streamed nowadays, you know? You just go to the interwebs, pull it up on your phone. It's crazy.
You don't have to rewind the tape or none of the CDs would always skip. Oh, shit. It was impossible.
Look, girl, I'm back with the tapes, the VHS tapes where you
even those would be melted. Those would fuck up and snap, and you got the pencil, and you're trying to fix it. And
after you watched them so many times, the quality would just go away. I'm showing my age now, but
beta.
So, what is your next bucket list? Gotta have, wanna have. It could be, a vehicle. It could be gun. It could be clothing. It could be anything. What's on your bucket list? What do you gotta have next?
Well, I got pony.
A pony.
Ask for a pony. Yeah. Like, big enough to ride. I don't want, like, a kid's pony. They make, like, the smaller Arabians or something I could ride.
I think Randy would get you one of those.
We have a barn. We just don't have the time.
Yeah? That would be cool. Have a whole horse farm. That'd be awesome.
Little ponies.
So, laws be damned, money be damned, rules be damned, people be damned. What would you own? What would you have? What would you do?
I feel like this is so important. What are those crazy things?
It's not. I mean, just first thing comes to mind. Well,
my first thing was the Airstream. I always wanted a vintage Airstream.
Nice.
And lo and behold, Randy bought one. And we have not seen it. We have not physically seen it yet. So my dream is to have a classic Airstream. I lit up every time one drove by. I'm like, I could live in one forever and I'd be fine with it. And so we found one, and we had it shipped to Colorado. And we haven't seen it yet. We bought it like half a year ago. So technically, I haven't actually achieved it, but it's still my dream.
It's still there. Okay. Is that one you got to fix up, or is it already ready to go for it?
I mean, it's from 1963, so it's going to need some work, but it's in pretty good shape.
Awesome. So I guess you got to look at it and see what it needs first. I was going to say, what do you plan on doing to it? But
I got to kind of see it first. You never know how those things are.
That'd be awesome, yeah. So you could pull your pony behind your Airstream.
Yay! I don't pull the pony behind the Airstream. That's how it dies.
That's how it
dies. The Airstream. Yeah. Nothing weird about that.
If you could spend the day at the range with anyone, whether they're alive, dead, fictional, or maybe a group of people, who would you like to spend the day at the range with?
Oh, I got to say the Gunny.
The Gunny. That a girl. That's a good answer.
I was lucky enough. Randy did 2 episodes to fill in for him after he passed, and I got to go on set and they were there, so I could talk about it. They did like Gunzilla, which exploded. They did it was so much fun. I mean, Randy loved it, and the best part was we spent 2 days there. Had to overnight it. It's out in Arizona, and just listening to how positive everyone spoke about him. And I missed him. Like, I think every time I was at the gun show, I just my life never brought me, by
man.
him, and I never got to meet him. And Randy's the same way. He just felt, actually, I think he did meet him, but I just felt so bummed, that I didn't get that chance to meet him. And everyone, just nothing but nice words, and it was really, really cool.
He's the genuine article, man. He's the real deal. Yeah, he's a great man. He will be missed.
He will be.
So that does it for the new guy questions. You passed the test. Way to go.
Woo!
Yay!
I don't know, it was a test.
It's not really a test. It's just more for the lead heads to get to know you on a different level kind of thing. More laid back kind of questions, kind of, they catch you off guard. Hopefully you're spontaneous with the answers, and you did good. So now we're going to get to that part of the show where it's time for the Talking Lead
Facts to fight the myths.
And with Mindy being from Hollywood, she's going to debunk some Hollywood myths for us today. Mindy?
Yes, sir.
What do you got?
I think, and this is a huge deal for me as an actor, when I film a movie and I do movies say from start to finish, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people have realized that when they watch it, we have done none of that in sequence.
Right.
Like, to me, that's something I still don't, I don't know, it's just so weird. Like, when I watch a movie, a lot of things are kind of ruined for me now. Because you watch it is all out of sequence. Like, if you're a big character, you got to go back and like, am I happy here? Am I sad? What does my hair look like? What am I wearing? There's so much to go into because it is. I guess people think of plays where it's start to finish. That's how you film a movie. Like, no, man. Sometimes you're months apart. Sometimes you do pickups, a year later.
Sometimes the weather don't cooperate or people don't cooperate, and you got to shoot other scenes first. Yeah.
That and actors are tiny. They're even tinier than you think they are when you see them in person. Like, it's amazing. People go up to, they'll go up to Stallone or Arnold, and in their heads they're like 9'10".
Yeah.
And they're not. The people are very, very tiny, and that's an issue for me because I'm not that tiny. I'm a size 3.
Oh, you
like
are. You're freaking.
But no,
minuscule.
In human size is size 3. Like, yeah, that's great. But in like TV size, I'm a fat ass. And so what I do is, like a true person that doesn't only half gives a shit, is I kind of starve right before I work, and then I can eat again. Like, it's absolutely amazing how tiny these people are. Like, double zeros. Even the dudes, you're like, bro, like, it is.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
It is insane how tiny they are.
But anyway, I get what you're saying. Yeah, definitely. And I've met celebrities too. I've gone up to them like Joe Rogan. First time I met him in person, he was a lot shorter than what I was expecting.
It is kind of weird.
Yeah, a little weird. Tom Cruise out here is like really small dude. Yeah. So that is a good fact to find, that Hollywood people are actually a lot smaller than they actually grow them at the Keebler Elves tree. Yeah, the factory.
But there are big actors. I mean, there's a lot of big actors, but it is interesting to see how tiny some of these people are.
But you have another fact to fight the myth dealing with Hollywood, and
I think I'm actually creating. Like, I have this question:
mm-hmm.
How come in movies they never show anyone reloading? And this is the most pain in the ass part. Like, shooting is like, yeah, that shot great, and then you're just
right.
Like, it's just nothingness, and I don't know. Does it drive you crazy? Like,
It
when you're
does.
watching the film and you're like, how many shots was that? Like,
especially when you're watching those westerns and it's a 6-shooter. You know for a fact there's only 6 bullets in that gun, but yet some reason they've got like a 100-round mag in that thing, and it just keeps going and going and going. But I've noticed that in some of the the more popular films and TV shows, they are getting better with their gun mechanics. Like, take for instance the John Wick films.
Oh yeah.
I mean, those guys are really mechanically sound on that movie. I was watching another one. I can't remember which one it was, but it was really good too. Westworld, it seems to be pretty good, and that's dealing a lot with 6-shooters and things like that. But a lot of people don't agree with me on that one, but I like Westworld. But that's okay. A lot of people don't agree with me on a lot of things.
No. I should show you my inbox sometimes.
I would probably run and hide from the type of emails that you get. I could
I post them. You figure people wise up, but they'll get drunk and they'll
call
get on
them out.
Facebook and they see that and they'll be like the awfulest shit, and I'll just post it.
So what's
Name
your
or not, it's not my problem.
What's your biggest pet peeve about Hollywood? Would you say?
My biggest pet peeve?
Yeah. Outside of the liberals.
I was going to say, like...
Because I know that's your biggest pet peeve.
It's not, like... It's... You have to understand, like, my Facebook timeline is almost entirely made up of other actors and people in the business. And I just slowly... And I don't like to do it, but I had to just unfollow a lot of people. I didn't unfriend them.
Yeah.
You know, they hopefully didn't notice. I just had to unfollow them because it was, you know...
Hopefully they
after your 20th anti-Trump post in the day, I got shit to do. I don't want to see this. I want to see something else. I want to see pictures of your dog again. Hell, I'd rather see pictures of people's food as long as you just, you know, don't do another Occupy Democrats crap meme. But, I hate Occupy Democrats so much. You have no idea. I actually had a creator account that said, I see you ban people that post facts. Like, that was the last one they banned. And then actually someone went through to find, like, my real account and blocked them all. So I'm kind of bummed. Can't really, But yeah,
you need your own TV show, definitely.
Well, I've got Red, White, and FU. We do those videos stuff. It's basically me bitching for 5 minutes about idiots.
Idiots. That's kind of what we do on this show. That's the whole Jackwagon Train.
I suppose. But my biggest pet peeve in Hollywood, other than maybe it's completely overrun by liberals. Now it's not really overrun.
Yeah.
They boss people around and they do what they do.
They've just been there forever.
I think I've been pretty lucky where I'm on an independent film level and everyone I've dealt with is pretty good. Mm-hmm. But I do find that there's a huge kind of there's certain people, like Gary Busey, for instance, that have gotten famous and now that they have a name can work forever to the end of time. Now, is that project going to be great? Are they going to make money? I don't know. But once you are a name, you stay around forever. And they are atrocious. They're absolutely atrocious to work with. They're the ones that give that stereotype of, you know, like someone's fanning them and feeding them grapes. That's where the stereotype
comes from. Yeah, those types.
And you see it. And a lot of them are anti-gun because that's trendy, I suppose, for them. And they live in a giant house in the mansion and they have private security and they have, you know, ADT and they've got a gate and they don't understand why some guy in Texas needs gun, you know, to fight off coyotes on it. They don't understand that. They are so elite and in a bubble. And they're just awful. And once they have a name, they can keep working. And it's kind of sad. They can keep
working, keep funding that lifestyle, that security, that bubble, like you said, that fantasy bubble that they live in. That's not... Yeah,
people have a short memory sometimes, you know. But, I mean, Jane Fonda should have never fucking worked again in her life. Like, in My Perfect America. I'd be like, you like Vietnam? You can go there.
I mean, Barbarella, come on. I mean, she groundbreaking role there.
Oh, please. I just hate the hypocrisy. I mean, you look at Meryl Streep. You know, thinks Trump is mean. She thinks Trump is mean, but she can clap for a guy that raped and sodomized a 13-year-old girl. That she can look past because she got her Oscar. Like, there's these certain people in Hollywood that are absolutely awful, disgusting.
Hypocrites. Yeah.
But they're a minority. You have to believe me. They are a minority. They're just a loud minority, and they bully other people. Because I do this page, because I do this very, very public conservative page that gets shared. I'm lucky. Gets shared and retweeted by a lot of other conservatives that are up there. And, you know, I've done InfoWars, I've done Milo, I've done that kind of stuff.
I'm glad you said that. Go ahead. InfoWars.
So I'm in Hollywood, and people will not recognize me from my movies. They'll recognize me from the page. And they'll come up to me and they'll thank me. Like, thank you for speaking out and doing stuff I cannot, you know, and this happens nonstop. I've had some pretty big people come up to me and say that they love what I do. They thank you, but they are also in a position where they're like, I can't talk about those things. I feel that way, but I can't say it. So I do want people, I know it sounds like they're a bunch of liberal crazies. There are a few crazy liberals and they are loud, but there are tons of conservatives in Hollywood.
There are.
I mean, that's what Roe V Wade really is.
Yeah, and it takes people like yourself to start the grassroots movement like you're doing, and make them, give them a safe place to where they can feel like they can come out and they can talk about, their true beliefs.
Yeah.
And that's where, invite them on your show and say, hey, come on, this is a safe space.
Though. They can't let people know that they think that way. And I think that's absolutely sad.
Well, and that's the thing. That is a fact to fight the myth on their part. Theirs, they falsely feel that way and think that way. Where they are, like you said, I mean, if they all came out, then you'd probably find out that they're not the minority. They're probably the majority.
I believe they are the majority. And I believe a lot of moderates, because a lot of moderates were pushed right.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people would probably change their views, too, if more conservatives would come out. You would find that a lot of people are falsely liberals. You know what I'm saying? Just to fit in.
There's a lot of false information. Like when I do meet someone that's anti-gun and I ask why. So I'm not. See, here's the thing: you have to learn how to debate. Don't just be like, "Well, fuck you," and walk off. You've done nothing to help the situation. When they say they're anti-gun, I'm like, okay, why? Because maybe they've got 8 kids at home. They trust none of them. Why are they anti-gun? Like, I want to hear their reasons. And if they give me a reason, I'm like, well, actually, that's not true. This. Well, you just can't have people with machine guns. I'm like, okay, this. Like, it's misinformation that gets spread and shared. And obviously, there's a huge liberal movie bias.
We need more patriots like you to get the word out there, especially at that level. And you're doing a great job. So thank you. Thank you for your service, Mindy. You're doing great.
I'm trying.
So speaking of doing great things, and that was our fact to fight the myths. So awesome segment there, Mindy. Thank you. It's time to give away some watches to some veterans and some first responders and some law enforcement officers. Mindy?
Yay!
Woohoo!
Yeah.
So, first off, if you've not got in touch with me from the previous episode about your watches, get in touch with me. Because I don't think I've heard from everybody yet. So this week, the email comes from an Army veteran. And I thought it was a female at first, but I'll read. It says, I'm an Army veteran that served in Operation Desert Storm with 7th Corps. I have been listening to your podcast on my hour commute to work for about 6 months. I especially enjoy the Gunny's Jackwagon Train. Unfortunately, there's no shortage of passengers, no doubt. The reason for this email is not to get a Defy watch for myself, but for a fellow vet. Wade Bentley served in the Marine Corps and is currently the training officer for the local police department. An Army vet nominating a jarhead is unusual, but he really deserves it. Thanks, Phil. Phil sent the email in from his wife, apparently. So I was like, finally, we got a female doing this, but that's okay, Phil. So yes, Phil, we are going to hook up your jarhead buddy, Wade Bentley, but we're also going to hook you up with one too. So you are our 2 recipients for the Defy watches this week, guys. Phil and Wade. Phil, get in touch with me. Get me Wade's information. We'll make sure we get that to Jeremy at Defy Watches, the official wristwear of Talking Lead, Defy Watches. So there you go.
Woo!
Yay!
Yay!
So now, Mindy, we're going to go to some feedback on iTunes. We always like to pick a lead head at random, whether it's from Instagram, Facebook, one of our podcasting apps. I'm going to go to iTunes this week, and I'm going to let you pick who the winner is for this week's Talking Lead swag package. So, Johnny B205. Talking Lead is the best podcast out there. Love this show. The best place to come and hear about new products hitting the market, and it's a good way for all us gun-toting, Second Amendment-loving lead heads to connect. Keep up the awesomeness. 5 stars, baby.
Woo!
This is from 2A Leadhead, another 5-star rating. Great 2A podcast. Lefty never stops bringing new information and the latest products. Have purchased several products through the years because of his recommendations. They were as good or better than he said. You better damn believe it. And then he goes, now the AK corner? Question mark, question mark. Hell yeah. Thanks for putting the AR aside for a bit and diving into the AK world. Keep on doing what you do. Hashtag making products great again. Thank you, buddy. So what he's talking about there, Mindy, the AK Corner, that's a new segment that we started. It's a 12-part series, and we talk nothing but AKs during that podcast, that segment. And we're giving away 12 rifles during this 12-part series. So we're doing one a month, and somebody every month is going to win a rifle from Pioneer Arms, sponsor of the AK Corner. Our first episode, we didn't give anything away because we just announced it and we didn't have anybody listening to the segment and giving feedback. So the next episode, which is coming up around the mid this month, around the 15th, we're going to give away two rifles to make up for that first episode. So tune in, Leadheads. Talking Lead AK Corner. All right, we're going to read one more here, and then I'm going to let you pick.
Okay.
This is T-Boz. Being an Army veteran, I'm a huge fan of the AR platform and its versatility. I have variations from the standard 223 up to a 450 Bushmaster. Boom! It's a big boy. I've never given the AK platform much consideration. That's until I heard the origins of the AK. Now I'm considering adding one to my collection. So our first part was the history of the AK. That's what he's talking about. So if you guys haven't checked that, go back to, I think it's 253. Anyway, it's titled Talking Lead AK Corner, so you'll know which one it is, part 1. And we talk about the history of the AK. So that was T-Boz. So we got Johnny B 205, we've got 2A Leadhead, and we got T-Boz. Who's the winner going to be, Mindy?
I'm going to have to pick for the clever hashtag.
Okay. So you're making products great again?
Clever.
That's the so that's 2A Leadhead.
I go number 2.
Number 2. There you go. 2A Leadhead.
Number 2. Final answer. Final answer.
I like that. All right, 2A Leadhead, you are the winner. I don't know who you are, so you're going to have to email me at talkingled@gmail.com with all your contact information, and you are going to get an awesome Talking Lead swag package. Very cool. Mindy, that is awesome. So we were talking a little bit earlier, and you brought something up that I wanted to talk about real quick. And I meant to do this during the Jackwagon Train, but you said you've been on InfoWars.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did it twice with for Roger Stone.
So I don't know if you've heard the news lately, but they have been banned from Facebook and the iTunes. I don't know if
YouTube.
YouTube, they've just completely banned them because of so-called allegations of hate speech, which they haven't defined or explained to them what specifically got them banned. Typical, again, liberal media, but this is coming from some, I consider monopolies. I mean, you got to consider YouTube a monopoly. You got to consider Facebook a monopoly. Instagram is a monopoly. Kind of like if a phone company had a monopoly, it's illegal, right? And they can't deny service to anyone. Phone companies and.
I think it's a little bit more complicated because you don't have to be on Facebook.
Well, you don't.
And so there's that option where you're like, well, you don't have to use it if you don't like it.
You don't have to use a phone either.
But you have this huge tool in social media, and it's being manipulated.
Yes.
To lean a certain way, for sure. I know, firsthand. I think a lot of people on the page have complained where they posted a picture of a gun, and they would get a ban, and they would get blocked, or they would take it down.
Well, you've experienced this firsthand. You got banned from Facebook.
I got banned. I get sent wonderful hate mail all the time. And I jokingly post it. Because number one, I know it's going to happen. Yeah. They're not going to do that to someone else. By the time everyone's done, I imagine yelling at them or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it kind of gets them to stop. Because otherwise, they just kind of keep doing it. It's just one of those bizarre things. Even if I block them for some reason, I can still get the messages one way. So I don't know if that's a glitch or just something Facebook loves. But yeah, I got banned because I posted what he wrote about me. I got banned. He got to keep his account. I was on a 30-day ban for posting a screenshot of what he said.
Of what he said, and you got
To
banned.
me, yeah, it was something like, I think he told me to kill myself, typical stuff. Said a bunch of weird sexual shit, and so I posted it, and I'm sure he got some nasty hate mail of his own. That's kind of how it works. That's how I work. You want to send it to me? I'll send it right back. But I got the ban, and I contacted Breitbart, and I told him the story. I'm like, this guy told me to kill myself, and he said a bunch of weird sexual shit. And even after I banned him, some of that stuff came through, and then I get the ban. So, supposedly Facebook is this, lovey-dovey, feminist loving thing. Well, what about this? It's okay because I'm a conservative. So within, I think, 2 days, I got my entire Facebook reinstated and an apology from Facebook. Like, we just accidentally gave you the ban. I'm like, really? Like, I know from experience that I have flagged some serious stuff. Like, serious stuff. Like, you'll see porn on there. You'll see, like, head decapitations and stuff like that. And I'll report it. And it doesn't always get taken down. But then you look at the stuff that is taken down. I've had people post a Christmas tree. And Total Blood posted a picture of a Christmas tree. It got flagged for nudity.
Are you serious? A Christmas tree?
I have done numerous articles of the ridiculousness. And then when InfoWars gets, kicked off for hate speech, because you're technically, So I went through and I found
technically,
pages that weren't unpublished. There's one, fuck Christianity.
Right, and that's the point I wanted to make was... That's
okay. I reported them. Facebook said they don't violate the terms, but here we are looking at InfoWars gone. I'm like, well, it's either
what's the
one
difference?
or the other. Yeah, it's got to be equal, and right now it's not equal. And it just starts with them. It's going to trickle down to, some people, they don't like InfoWars. They don't like Alex. I'm like, you realize you're next. This is just...
Because you're not saying what they want you to say, then...
Absolutely.
They determine, well, you're not worthy, you're gone. What these people are doing are the same thing, but it's saying it on the side that we're on, so, we're going to leave that.
I can't think a lot of it's that. Like, why don't people check what they read, before they observe it? And they don't, because they don't want to. They see something that goes with their narrative and their agenda, and they just want it to be true, so they don't check into it. Yeah. And then if you're like, hey, this isn't true, they'll be like, oh, well, I didn't check into it. Well, that's kind of on you. Don't repeat it. You don't have to, buy into it. You don't have to support it. You don't have to not support it. Whatever you do, you don't have to repeat it if you don't want to bother to check into it.
But what you do have to support are all the sponsors of Talking Lead, such as Right On Optics, the official optics of Talking Lead. Right On Optics. They've got a great line of rifle scopes, red dots, binoculars. Mindy, if you haven't checked out Right On, they're a veteran-owned company. They're based out of Arizona, family-run business. Great group of guys and gals, and we've been doing a segment with them called Optics 101, where we're teaching from the very basic all the way up to the far advanced in scopes and optics and sighting and shooting with certain types of optics. So make sure you check those segments out as well. Mm-hmm. Modern Spartan Systems, Mindy, is the best way to not only clean your firearms but optimize them with using Modern Spartan Systems lines of cleaning solutions, lubricants, oils, and they even have a product for your vehicle, Mindy. It's called TVT Engine Oil Additive, and I've been using it in the old lead sled now for I'm up to almost 320,000 miles, and she's still running great. So you might want to check it out. I might need to hook you up with some TVT Engine Oil Additive.
Okay.
For your, you probably got a Humvee or something, don't you?
Well, he's got a lifted Jeep. It is pretty like the apocalypse Jeep, as you would imagine.
Okay.
Good kettle gun.
I will hook you guys up with some TVT Engine Oil Additive. Randy will thank you for that. Trust me.
All right.
And then, of course, Defy, the official wristwear of Talking Lead. Defy watches and Talking Lead giving away 10 watches to 10 vets. And actually, that got up to 14 watches because Fleoa is donating another 4 Defy watches. So we've got, let's see, 2, 4, 6. We've given 6 away. What's 14 minus 6? Like 8?
8.
So we got 8 more to give away. So stay tuned. And that number may grow. We may just continue to keep getting watches to give away to our veterans and first responders in LE. So stay tuned for that. X Steel Targets.
X Steel Targets.
The best, most affordable AR 500 steel targets on the market today are X steel targets. Guys, go check out these awesome AR 500 steel targets that Bud is producing. They've got a target for every need. You hunters, you competition shooters, you precision long distance shooters, you tactical training shooters, or just you, like myself, just going out and plinking shooters. They've got something for every one of us at xsteeltargets.com. 1776 United, Mindy, is the official swag of Talking Lead, swag providers. They do our t-shirts, they do our patches, and I don't know if you've seen this awesome piece of drinkware yet, but this is called the Talking Leady. This is the black assault mug that the liberals love to hate. It's
Assault mug.
It's better than a Yeti. It's a Leady, and it keeps your drinks a lot colder than a Yeti, too. I've tested it. Firsthand tested it. Don't be a snowflake. Get your Talking Lead Leady black assault mug at dip123/Talking Lead. Soon to be at 1776 United. They're not there yet, but they're coming. I love talking about my sponsors, Mindy. They make all this possible.
Randy's trying to call. You're going to get me in trouble.
Oh, hold on.
He's trying to FaceTime me. I can't hit the button.
So Randy is calling. I don't want to piss Randy off. So Mindy, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna do our sign off. But thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you being on the show. You are always welcome back.
Well, thank you guys.
Anytime. Give everybody one more time where they can get in touch with you and keep track of you.
Okay. You can find me on the Facebook at Mindy Robinson. You can find me on the Twitter. iHeartMindy is the handle. You can find me on Instagram the same way. And obviously Red, White, and FU, the Patriotic Show. We just talk about all things from, gun rights to immigrate, pretty much everything. And I try to do a little bit of comedy, so it's not as depressing like my Facebook feed has been. And you can write to me at AmericanAFMindy@Yahoo if you have any questions, if you want to find anything. And also, redwhiteandfu.com is the home of all the articles and information for the show. So,
cool. You guys make sure you go and leave Mindy a message, subscribe to those, and tell her that you're a leadhead. Mindy, again, thank you so much. Look forward to having you on. I got to have you on when the Roe V Wade gets released. We'll do a big push for that and get it out there. All right, leadheads, that brings us to the end of another episode of the Talking Lead podcast. As always, keep your loved ones close
and your firearms closer. I'm Mindy Robinson, and please watch Red, White, and FU, unapologetically patriotic.
Hells yeah!